The day I got married, Julian bombed the hotel to stop the wedding. He pulled me from the wreckage with his bare hands. When I opened my eyes and found blankness where my memories should be, he swallowed his joy and, voice trembling, told me he was the man I loved. For 5 years he treated me like I was his center, his universe. And then he grew bored. He slid his wedding band off with practiced ease and, with gentle hands, cupped his assistant's pregnant belly. "Give me this child and I will give you my life," he murmured. "But remember the rule. Never let Eve know." He had no idea his little girl had recorded the whole thing. She sent the clip to me with a taunt. "Time to step aside, old woman." He also did not know that the video unlocked something in me, and the flood of memories that followed put Griffin back at the center of my past. Griffin had been beautiful, but also possessive and cruel, a man shaped by vengeance. I had been very much like him. With that revelation, Julian was finished. Julian was careful, meticulous about keeping the affair secret. Unfortunately for him, his lover had the nerve to match her ambition. Summer arrived at my door, belly round and head high. "Eve, I am having twins, both boys," the doctor said, she announced. "Their daddy feels so bad for me. He rubs my feet every night. He waits until I fall asleep before he goes home to his wife. He can't wait to meet them." A cold smile slid behind my eyes. "Did your daddy ever tell you what kind of person I am?" If Julian wanted to meet his children, I could make sure the introduction happened. Half an hour later, a rush medical courier was en route to his office. I sat with my tea and watched his office security feed. At the sight of the package, his stern face softened. He assumed it was from me. The moment he opened it, his expression turned to stone. The box held a clinical report for an emergency D&C and the results. An hour later, Julian arrived home. Summer lay on a chaise I had prepared, wailing the instant he stepped across the threshold. "Julian, she killed our babies. The babies you wanted. You have to kill her. Kill that bitch." Genuine pain flickered across his face. He seized my wrist, voice taut, trying to rein in a fury I had never heard. "Eve, she is just a kid, a recent graduate. How could you be so cruel?" It was the first time in 5 years he'd raised his voice at me, and it was for another woman. I tossed my phone onto the table. The screen lit up with videos. Julian doting on Summer, Summer mocking me, Summer demanding he choose her. "Your kid sent those to provoke me. As your wife, I was hurt. Do I not get to retaliate?" Julian froze. He shot Summer a look so cold it should have curdled her blood. Then he dropped his knees before me, face softening as he took my hand. "Eve, baby, you misunderstood," he said. "I just didn't want you to suffer. I planned to let her carry the babies, then we would raise them together. You and me. I swear on my life, you are the only one I have ever loved." I believed him. When we first talked about children, he even tried a labor pain simulator. It was the only time I had seen Julian cry. He held me afterward and promised, "We are not having kids. I will not let you go through that." So, because he could not bear to see me in pain, he let another woman carry his twins? Summer's face was stunned, wet with disbelief. I laughed. "So you are the cruelest of us both, Julian. You stabbed us with one sentence." "What now?" I asked. "The last time someone hurt me this badly, you tore their family apart and drove them out of the city." His gaze slid over Summer with cold indifference, yet his hand trembled. He was quiet for a long time. "Eve," he said finally, "I am apologizing for her. What will it take for you to forgive me, so I can get her out of here?" Rage washed through me. All his pretty words, his staged tenderness, and he still protected her. I swept a row of expensive vases from the mantel. Glass exploded across the floor. Julian did not hesitate. He kicked off his shoes, walked across the shards, feet bleeding, scooped Summer into his arms and carried her out, leaving a trail of blood. He is a psycho, but also a pragmatist. In all the time I had known him, the only person he had ever been hurt for was me. My stare cooled to ice. He had no idea my memory had returned. He did not know that, God help me, I might have been falling for him. There were moments I had wanted to stay lost with him. But now, seeing his betrayal laid bare, that thought vanished. A rotten man and the woman who stole him, I would make them both pay. After that, Julian sent gifts every day while spending his nights at Summer's. Tonight's excuse, a last-minute business dinner. The moment he hung up, a message from Summer arrived. "Haha, you must regret it now, old woman. So, what if you killed my babies?"
He feels worse for me.
He is at my place cooking dinner. The video showed Julian in an apron moving around a kitchen. He had never cooked before he met me. He had learned from five-star chefs because of me. Now he was preparing my favorite dishes for her. I could almost smell the food, and I felt nauseous. Summer's voice was vicious. He said he is going to give me another baby tonight. And you. Her message ended. You're finished, Eve. At that moment something struck my car window. A dozen men, bats in hand, tattooed at the neck, surrounded my vehicle. You the one who messed with our girl, Summer? I smiled and called Julian. He picked up on the first ring, his voice already tired. Eve, come on. Don't do this. She is just a college kid. She does not know. I am not going to fight, I said. You can come or not. Up to you. I hung up. The night air was cool as I watched the traffic light and counted. It had not even cycled 3 times before he appeared. He had abandoned his car in traffic and run the last 6 blocks. He arrived bent over, panting, chest heaving. A small smile tugged at me. Of course I had lied. The thugs were down on the pavement, groaning. Julian stared at the mess, then at me. His jaw was tight. Then his eyes found the small scratch on my leg, and his anger seemed to deflate. He knelt, his touch ridiculously gentle, and started to clean the cut. You do this because you know I love you, he muttered, half angry, half broken. For a moment I almost explained. I did not stage this, I said. Summer actually called them. Julian did not look up. I asked her. She swore she did not. She is a very simple, honest girl, Eve. She is not like... He stopped, but I heard the sentence finish without words. Not like you calculating, vicious woman. My face went blank. I pulled out my phone and dialed my lawyer, right there in front of him. Yes, I need divorce papers drawn up. I will be there in 20 to sign. I shoved him from the passenger seat and started the car. He stood in front of it. Wind tossed his hair back, his eyes wild. You want a divorce, Eve? He snarled. You will have to drive through me to get it. The car's headlights lit his insane expression. I looked him dead in the eye and pressed the gas. Tires screamed. The bumper came within inches of his knees. He did not move. He only stared with a hot, dangerous look. You psycho. I hissed. I slammed the car into reverse and sped away. A few days later, another message arrived from Summer. This time, her tone was soft, contrite. Eve, I'm so sorry. I know I crossed a line. Please, just give me a chance to make things right. She included an address, an estate with a rose garden, and asked to apologize in person. I went. The property was enormous. Summer stood by the gate in a white dress, smiling faintly. She used a key to let us in. And then I froze. In the middle of the garden stood a massive framed photo of her and Julian, tangled together among the roses, kissing. The date printed on the corner was from 5 years ago, before my accident, before I'd lost my memory. Summer's voice was calm, almost cheerful. Oh, Eve. I've known about you for years. I even helped Julian figure out how to make you fall for him. She'd known him long before I ever had. He'd sponsored her education, brought her out of her small town, even let her live in his house. The entire estate was a monument to their history. My fingers went cold. She giggled, gesturing toward my wedding ring. Every gift he ever gave you? I helped him choose it. Even that ring. It was my favorite design. He bought it for you, but he picked it with me. She was lying. Julian had given me a selection of 20, and I'd chosen that one myself, but knowing she'd been involved at all made me sick. I slid the ring from my finger and tossed it into the rose bushes. Summer's smile deepened. He loved you so much. I was jealous. But people get bored, don't they? So I waited. I told him I'd still be here, happy to take whatever scraps of love you didn't want. Then she laughed, a bright, unhinged sound. And guess what? He slept with me. You were the chase, but now you're old news.
He's tired of you, Eve.
So, do us both a favor, leave. I stared at her for a long moment before smiling faintly. You're this much of a bitch? Perfect. Her brow furrowed. What? It means, I said, I don't have to feel bad about what happens next. I kicked over a rack of rare vintage wine. Bottles shattered. Then I flicked open a lighter. The tiny flame reflected in her eyes. The manor went up in flames. Julian arrived fast. He saw the smoke, saw Summer screaming and me standing there, calm amid the chaos. Julian, help me, she cried. The fire. Oh God, my babies. She made me lose them. She killed our babies. I didn't speak. I just met his eyes and mouthed one word. Choose. The fire painted his face in agony. He drenched himself with a garden hose and sprinted toward her. As he ran, he shouted, Eve, you can get out yourself. Summer can't. He grabbed Summer, hauling her toward safety. Through the flames, she looked back at me, triumphant. I smiled back, unmoving. When he finally looked back at me, he hesitated. Then he cursed, dropped Summer on the lawn, and ran back into the inferno. He threw his soaked jacket over my head and dragged me out. A small part of me was disappointed. If he'd left me there, the divorce would have been simple. Only when I was safe did he turn back for Summer. By then, a fallen beam had pinned her leg. When he carried her out, she was hysterical. He looked furious. As he passed me, he shoved my shoulder hard. Guards, he ordered. Take my wife. We're all going to the hospital. Summer's leg was in a cast. Julian, she whimpered. Don't be angry. It wasn't Eve's fault. You didn't save me first, but that's okay. I'm just happy you're here. She played the perfect victim. Julian looked down at her, guilt softening his features. Then, in front of me, he kissed her. When he turned to me again, his face had hardened.
Eve.
You broke in. You started a fire. You injured her. Apologize. I smiled. No. Summer gasped, a hand to her chest. Julian, don't. Don't argue, because of me. Then she shot me a look filled with triumph and tapped something on her phone. Seconds later, the door burst open. Reporters. Cameras. Flashing lights. Mrs. Callahan, one shouted. Is it true you attack any woman who works for your husband? Did you start the fire that injured Miss Summer? Another yelled. Julian's face went pale. He had spent 5 years and a fortune hiding my identity, scrubbing my existence from every photo and article. He'd built false trails, erased every trace. Now, everything was exposed. He moved instinctively toward me to shield me from the cameras, but Summer let out a loud cry.
Ah.
Julian, my leg, I think it's bleeding. Her voice shook. Go to your wife. I can crawl. You're used to leaving me for her anyway. Julian froze. He turned to me through the chaos. You called them, didn't you? He hissed. You set this up. His voice broke into anger. I'm not falling for your games this time, Eve.
She's right.
I've let you get away with too much. Then he turned his back on me, lifting Summer carefully into his arms. I'm sorry, Summer. I won't let her hurt you again. Over his shoulder, Summer's lips curved in victory. She thought she'd won. I leaned back against the wall and almost laughed. 5 years. Julian had moved heaven and earth to keep me hidden, and one little assistant had undone it all. As the door slammed, I looked toward the cameras, smiled, and brushed my hair back to give them a clear shot of my face. I knew Julian would see it, and I knew who else would, too. Griffin. Julian, are you sure Eve will be all right? Summer asked, her voice trembling. What if she's angry? What if she... Julian's features softened as he pulled her into his arms. I already told you, he said quietly. I won't ever let her hurt you again. The doctor adjusted Summer's bandages, and she let out a dramatic hiss. Julian gripped her hand tighter. Be careful. Use the strongest medication available. I don't want her feeling any pain. Summer hid her smirk behind a pained expression. She'd done it. She had him. Julian, she whispered, don't leave me tonight. Please stay. He hesitated. For a moment, an image of me flashed through his mind, my face surrounded by reporters, my name dragged through the mud. His chest tightened. He had never once spoken to me so harshly. Maybe he should go home. Maybe he should apologize. But Summer's pale hand clutched her stomach. It's fine, she said softly. You should go. I thought I saw our babies in the fire. It broke me a little, that's all. Julian's jaw tensed. No, he said firmly. You're right. What she did was unforgivable. I'm staying here. With you. That night, Summer made sure her cries echoed down the hospital hallways. When Julian woke the next morning, he was disoriented. Reaching for the woman beside him, he murmured, Eve, morning. Then reality hit. It wasn't me. It was Summer. A sudden ache clawed at him. He needed to go home. He needed to see me. He pressed a kiss to Summer's cheek. Be good. I'll be back this afternoon. As he washed his face, the TV in the room caught his attention. And he froze. My face filled the screen. The news anchors called me a jealous, violent woman. Julian slammed his fist on the counter. Who leaked this? I told every station she's off limits. His pulse thundered. He knew who would be watching. The shark had smelled blood. Griffin was on his way. Summer flinched at the fury twisting Julian's face. Julian? He shoved her hand away and stormed out, barely hearing her gasp as she fell. He called his security chief as he sprinted for his car. It's everywhere, sir, the man stammered. The order came from your office. It was approved under your name by the company. We thought it was you. Julian's blood turned to ice. There was only one other person who had that authority.
Eve.
And then the realization hit him like a blow. She remembers. I was halfway through a yoga pose when the front door burst open. Julian stood there, chest heaving, eyes wild, though he quickly masked it, stepping toward me.
Eve.
Was this your doing? Did you release that video to get revenge? I'm sorry, he added quickly. I was wrong. Just tell me how to fix this. I laughed. Your first instinct is always to blame me, isn't it? Try again, Julian. There's someone else who can sign things under your name.
Summer.
But he didn't hesitate.
No.
Not her. He grabbed my waist, forcing my hands into his. I don't care who did it, he growled. I only care that you don't leave me again. Then he kissed me, hard and desperate, pushing me down onto the bed. You're mine, Eve, he whispered again and again.
Mine.
You can never leave. His phone wouldn't stop buzzing.
Summer.
I smiled, reached over, and pressed answer. Her teary, joyful voice filled the room. Julian, I have wonderful news. Can you come back? I cut her off with a long, breathless moan. Julian froze, realizing exactly what I'd done. But he didn't stop. The line went dead. After that, he kept me close. Always. He took me out, bought me things, smiled for photos, a gilded cage wrapped in affection. And I was the one sending Summer the videos. Julian and I dining at exclusive restaurants, flying private, smiling in luxury. It broke her. One afternoon, she appeared at the gate, shrieking. Julian, are you inside? Julian, I'm pregnant. Again. When I opened the door, she froze, her face twisted in fury. Where is he? I need to see him. I smiled sweetly. He's busy making me lunch. All my favorites. The exact meal he'd once made for her. Her expression darkened, then shifted. Tears spilling, her voice trembling. Eve, please don't be angry. I know he loves you. I know I mean nothing. But the baby, it's innocent. Please, let me keep it. You can raise it if you want. I just want to carry his child. She dropped to her knees, sobbing. I heard footsteps behind me. Summer looked up, hiding her face from the doorway, and smiled wickedly. She mouthed, he'll always choose the baby, bitch. Then she flung herself backward, crashing onto the marble floor. And oh, she screamed. Julian shoved past me, kneeling beside her. She was covered in blood. Summer, you. She gave him a trembling smile. I'm sorry. I couldn't save this one either. Her eyes fluttered shut. Julian turned toward me, pale and furious. I didn't touch her, I said flatly. She's pretending. Faking, he shouted, pointing at the blood. You think she's faking this? Eve, this time you've gone too far. He carried her out in his arms. I watched them go, my chest hollow but calm. Julian, I said softly, we're done. I packed a small bag, left the signed divorce papers on the table, and made a call. Minutes later, a black car stopped in front of the house. Griffin stepped out. When he saw me, all the anger I remembered was gone. His eyes were full of grief. Eve, he whispered, I'm here now. He reached me in 2 strides, pulling me into his arms, kissing my hair, my cheeks, my hands. I'm sorry, he breathed. I was a fool. I let him take you. It took me 5 years to find you. 5 years. But I'll never lose you again. I clung to him, to the man who had always been mine. As he carried me to the car, I turned to look at the house one last time. Griffin gently turned my face toward him. Don't look back. And I didn't. Griffin drove me to the home we'd been renovating for our wedding. It was exactly as we'd left it. Pristine, quiet, perfect. He held me close all night, listening to every detail of what had happened. I told him about Summer, the babies, and Julian abandoning me at the hospital. His face darkened. He stole the most precious thing in the world, Griffin growled. And he didn't even value you? Rest, Eve, He whispered softly, stroking my hair. You're safe now. I'll handle everything. Meanwhile, Julian sat in the hospital, unease gnawing at him. The predator he had feared, it was close. The operating room light clicked off. Mr. Callahan, Miss Summer, and the fetus are stable. Surgery was successful. Julian didn't feel relief. Summer stirred. Oh, our baby. He didn't feel joy. I'm thirsty, she murmured. As he stepped into the hall to get her water, a reporter barreled toward him. Mr. Callahan, congratulations on the new baby. Miss Summer told us to share the video, and at first we were confused, but now, wow. What video? Julian demanded. The one with your wife, the reporter said, breathless. Miss Summer authorized it herself, claimed it was under your orders. The pieces fell into place. It wasn't Eve. It was her. It had always been her. His phone erupted in chaos. Board members, investors, partners, all withdrawing, terminating contracts, cashing out. Sir, his assistant shouted. The stock is plummeting. Someone is attacking the company, dumping shares. Julian didn't go to the office. He ran. He knew who was behind it. He knew where he had to go. Griffin was there. Summer called incessantly. Finally, he answered. Julian, baby, where? Shut up, he snapped. I know what you did. I'm getting my wife. He hung up. He reached the house and saw us through the windows. Me, curled up on the sofa. Griffin, gentle, feeding me grapes, brushing back my hair. His world shattered. He grabbed an emergency axe from the trunk and smashed through the front gate. Griffin didn't flinch. He kissed my forehead. Go upstairs. I'll handle this. Julian screamed my name, charging. Griffin moved like a shadow, disarming him, spinning the axe, and plunging it into Julian's shoulder. She's home, Griffin said, calm and deadly. Julian barely reacted, glaring at me. Eve, I know everything. Summer, I'll fix it. Please come home. Griffin twisted the axe. I stepped forward. Remember your promise? Never let her get hurt again. Already breaking it? I asked. And one more thing, I added, my voice cold. I remember everything. My real wedding. You blowing it up. You lied to me for 5 years, kept me from him, cheated because you were bored. You're not in love, Julian. You're pathetic. He shook, bleeding, almost collapsing. As I turned to go upstairs, he shouted, desperate. Eve, did you ever love me? I paused. A broken laugh escaped him. He was bleeding but smiling. You hesitated, he whispered. You did. I understand. I'll come back, Eve. I'll win you. He turned to leave. Griffin raised the axe again. Julian blocked it. They fought, a blur of movement, but Griffin's control was absolute. I went upstairs. Griffin's lips brushed my hair as he smiled. Julian's expression crumbled. 2 hours later, Griffin, clean and smelling of sandalwood, slid into bed behind me. He wrapped me in his arms. You hesitated, he murmured. I stayed still. I'm not mad, he continued, voice breaking. I just hate that I gave him a chance, that I let him have part of you. I held him. It was only a little, and it's gone. We have forever, he said. We can erase him completely. The next morning, the house smelled of roses. Griffin was on one knee. Eve, he said, voice low and steady. I know you said yes 5 years ago, but marry me again. Be my wife. Forever. I smiled and kissed him. I missed you so much, Griffin. Suddenly, shouting outside shattered the moment. Julian had returned, bandaged and weak. He carried Summer, who collapsed to her knees, crying. Miss Eve, I'm sorry. I was wrong. He made me. I'll leave. Never come back. Please forgive him. I looked at Julian, saw the desperation in his eyes. I laughed. You tortured her as an apology? I said. Julian, you're pathetic. He drew a knife, pressing it to his chest. I can apologize myself, Eve. Does this make it better? He dragged the blade across his arm. I held up my left hand. A massive, dazzling diamond caught the sunlight. My fiancé and I are marrying in a month. I offered my hand to Griffin. He took it, lacing fingers with mine, and pulled me inside. Julian screamed. Eve, if you marry him, I'll kill myself. On your wedding day. He wasn't bluffing. On the day of our wedding, I received the video. Julian, perched atop the tallest building in the city, overlooking the venue. You don't show in 1 hour, I jump. Your choice, Eve. He was using my own tactic against me. I stared at the screen, then texted back. You can only blackmail the one who loves you more.
No.
I wasn't going. I turn off my phone and kiss my husband. Forever.